Hello, 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 and welcome to Unity of Sacramento News Live. I'm Reverend Eric Ovid Donaldson, the Senior Associate Minister here at Unity of Sacramento. And here beside me is my partner in Christ. It is none other than Angelina Ross. How are you, Angelina?
Good.
Good.
Glad to be here again.
I'm glad that you're here again. You're doing a great job, and you're filling in for your father, Rev Kev, who is on sabbatical. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But for now, we've got some more birthdays for the month of June. Who's our June birthday babies?
First up, we have David Cook.
David Cook, happy birthday. David Cook is also known as Father Abraham. He has some grandbabies coming soon. I know I just told it, but everybody already knows, David. Congratulations and happy birthday.
Then we have Ona.
Ona Brown, that is the motivator, Les Brown's daughter. Happy birthday, Ona.
And then we have Gail.
Gail Ross. Gail made her transition last year, but we love her, we bless her, we appreciate her, and we appreciate you too, Valerie. Happy birthday, Gail.
Then we have Lavoya.
Lavoya Donaldson. There's no relation, we think, but everybody knows Lavoya. If not, you should. She is a wonderful, wonderful soul. Happy birthday, Lavoya.
And then last but definitely not least, Tristan.
Tristan Calhoun, happy birthday, Tristan. I know you're happy to be on the earth, and we're happy to be on the earth with you and all of our June birthday babies. So happy that we can shout you out and say happy birthday. Many more to you. As I was mentioning, Rev Kev is on his sabbatical. It's a long-awaited sabbatical through Unity Worldwide Ministries. They suggest that ministers take their first sabbatical after their first 5 years of pastoring a church. And Rev Kev has pastored for 11 years. 11 years, and this is his first sabbatical. A sabbatical, if you're not familiar with the word, is a Sabbath. It's a not only a rest, but it is a restoration. It's a revitalization. It's a reflection time that ministers take that allows them to recharge their batteries and then come back to the community that they love and that they support with added strength and new ideas. There's so much burnout that takes place among ministers, and I'm not going to get into it, but all I want to say is that we don't want that to happen to our Rev Kev. And so one of the things that we have provided for him and for us is something that we're calling the Sabbatical Signature Speaker Series. And without further ado, I want you to watch this.
As Rev Kev recharges his spiritual batteries to be of greater service to the beloved community, he has called on his spiritual super friends from around the nation and even the Caribbean to bring you the Unity of Sacramento Sabbatical Signature Speaker Series. From coast to coast and from those that you love the most, our spirited speakers will be delivering their signature sermons that they are best known for and most passionate about. Rev E will be at the helm, hosting and speaking at this awesome event. And kicking us off will be our very own First Lady, Anita Ross. And here's our Sabbatical Speaker Series lineup. Reverend Dr. Cheryl Ward from Agape International out of Los Angeles, California. Esther Nicholson from Nashville, Tennessee. Reverend Sylvia Sumter out of Washington, D.C., affiliated with Unity of Washington, D.C. Reverend Savannah Riker from Boulder, Colorado with the Amazing Grace Spiritual Center. A sabbatical in song with our very own Rev Charles and the Unity of Sacramento Choir. Bishop Jack Bomar, hailing from Atlanta, Georgia at the Hillside International Truth Center. Reverend Sheila McKeithen, all the way from Kingston, Jamaica, representing the Universal Center of Truth. Reverend Burnett Jones from Baltimore, Maryland, with One God, One Thought Center for Better Living. Reverend Shad Lee Groverland out of Unity Village, Missouri, with the Unity Worldwide Ministries. Plan to join us. Don't miss a Sunday of our Unity of Sacramento Sabbatical Signature Speaker Series.
What an incredible lineup that is. Do you know any of these individuals that we just saw?
I think I know most of them, or have at least heard of most of them.
Yes, and I'm telling you, that is an incredible lineup. You don't want to miss any of this. It's already begun. It's already started, and each of these individuals have said yes to supporting Rev Kev, to his sabbatical, and supporting our beloved community to see to it that we continue to be spiritually fed as he restores his fire. So God bless you, Rev Kev, wherever you are. I'm not telling where you are, even if I know or don't know, nobody knows. But I just hope that wherever you are, that you are receiving what you so desire. And for more information about the sabbatical and other activities that are taking place here on the campus and virtually, we want you to watch for a mailer that will be coming to your mailbox very soon. We've been working very hard on it, very diligently, to see to it that it has all the information that you need about this period of time that we're in, resources that you could use. You'll hear from many of our Board of Trustee members and so many other activities that will be in the mailer. That mailer is thick, I'm telling you. And I can't wait for it to reach you because I think it's going to bless you. One of the things that's in the mailer is some conversation around the fireworks booth that we need your help with. We have a fireworks fundraiser. We had one last year and it was absolutely fantastic. I know people are going to want to celebrate the 4th of July and have their fireworks and their celebrations after getting through the pandemic that we have sheltered in place with. And so there is information in that mailer about how you can serve the fireworks booth. You can man it, you can support it financially, and the fireworks booth will be up and running on June 28th through July 4th. That's June 28th through July 4th. So come on over to the campus during those days. Come and help out in the booth if you so please, or purchase your firecrackers and sparklers here and do good for our beloved community. Do you like sparklers?
I love sparklers. They're so much fun.
Aren't they though? I'm obviously not as young as you are, but I still play with sparklers.
They're so much fun. They're so pretty, and it's just so exciting to use them.
I love it. I hope that no one gets burnt by them, because sometimes they don't know when to let it go because it's so much fun. They're waving them around and everything. So let's just be safe this 4th of July, okay? Another thing that you'll find in the mailer is a schedule of activities and classes that we call the Explosion of Truth and Light. And one of those classes is about to begin on the 21st of June. It's entitled The Oath of Manifestation. You don't want to miss this course. It's one that's going to get you on course for this point and beyond. And here to explain more about it is none other than Reverend Dr. Cheryl Ward, the instructor of the Oath of Manifestation. Watch this interview. Hello, beloveds. Reverend Eric Ovid Donaldson here, and I have the privilege of introducing to you none other than Dr. Cheryl Ward. Cheryl Ward is a phenomenal instructor, and she's coming to Unity of Sacramento and all of the world, actually, because we're virtual now, with a brand new course entitled The Oath of Manifestation. You're going to want to listen to this. This is absolutely fantastic. How are you, Dr. Ward?
I'm wonderful and so great to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah.
First of all, let me say your talks that you have given us, both of them have been absolutely magnificent. I really enjoyed every bit of it. You know, I'm a bit of a manifester myself and a metaphysician, and so that conversation really excites me, and I know it excites a lot of our congregants as well. Tell me, what is the oath of manifestation?
Oh, that's good. It's a good question that you asked. This came to me really from Spirit, from God. I was teaching a class called Plenty to Spare, Plenty to Share, about abundance and prosperity. This is something that has always been in my heart to teach. And I always ask for directions from God. So I'm not just making it up. I feel like it's flowing to me and giving me ideas. And one of the questions that I ask, by the way, I used to ask this question in my job too. Something's missing, tell me what's missing. But anyway, back to this class. So I thought, what is it that the students need that will help them stay on track and not lose their way or lose faith? And almost immediately came this idea of an oath, taking oath. You know, coming from the courts, you have to, I swear to tell the truth and all of that.
So help me God.
Right, so help me God. So then I thought, okay, but this oath will be different. What is the difference? It's an oath taken in manifestation to not abandon God. And what I got from that was the key that was missing, that I was asking, what's missing was this idea that people think God abandons them, but the truth is, we abandon God. We lose faith. We lose trust. We don't stay the course. We have a silent partner that's always with us, that goes in places that we cannot go humanly. And we just turn our backs and go look at, what can I do? Oh, let me write 1,000 letters. Let me make 1,000 phone calls. When we do that, we have abandoned God. So then I just listened to that idea. Okay, so what is the oath? It's oath for manifestation, because manifestation is supposed to be happening, breaking out all over this planet. And so the words just flowed. They just flowed. You know, gratefully I accept and receive unexpected good, unexpected love, unexpected money, unexpected prosperity, unexpected opportunities coming in unexpected ways from unexpected places and unexpected people. And so they just flowed. I said, oh yeah, that's what I was doing too, right? I wasn't the only one, but all of us that lose faith, because manifestation and the timing of manifestation is always in God's hand.
One of the things that impressed me is the support that people get through the class.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. What can people expect when they sign up?
This class, first of all, our classes are like no other classes. We call them transformational. I call them cauldrons of transformation, which means in the class there's all kinds of things coming to you, ingredients, so to speak, just use the cauldron thing, in which I support you through the class. But I don't do it alone. I have licensed practitioners. These are individuals who have been through a series of classes and 2 years of spiritual counseling and understanding spiritual laws and so forth, and we license them. They work with me, and they work in the class. You'll be in a small group as well as the large group with me. And in the small group, there'll be a practitioner facilitator helping you with the class, helping you with any questions you have. That facilitator is going to be available to you really every day of the week throughout the 6 weeks of the class because you'll have contact information. So you won't struggle alone. If you run into, I'm having a problem, you won't sit there and have to wait till the next class. You could reach out immediately through the email that we're going to give you to help and support you. In addition, it's very important that you commit to yourself, what I call get on your side, be for you. So your intentions are real important, and I teach intentions give directions. They're like the map. You wouldn't go on a drive to a place you've never been to without a map, a road map. And so intentions give the directions to the universal law. This is where I intend to go in my life. How you get there is up to the invisible, the unseen, the great power, the omnipresence. And we teach you that through various exercises that you're going to get and activities that we'll have you do. We'll help you clear the clutter out. Removing the clutter will help you what we call transmute.
That is powerful. I can't wait. You know, the class is going to begin on Mondays, beginning June 21st from 6:30 to 8:30 Pacific time. I have to say Pacific time because there are going to be people all over the globe that will be registering for this class. And we only have 80 spaces for this class because it's a virtual Zoom class. So you want to get to www.unityofsacramento.com right now, and look for the Oath of Manifestation banner. Click on it and it will take you to the registration where you'll get more information about the times, the dates, the activities, the details, the description of all that you are going to get from participating in this fantastic course. If you can't get to www.unityofsacramento.com, then watch for the mailer coming in your snail mail near you, or you can go to the Unity of Sacramento app, download the app at your iTunes store or your Android store, or you can sign up for our newsletter at that website as well. And we will send you an email blast filled with information about this fantastic course. Dr. Ward, I want to thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your busy schedule to describe this opportunity that we have. I can't wait to participate in the course, and I know that those out there are looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, I was hoping you would say you would participate. It's awesome. People can also go to the oathofmanifestationglobal.com. I have Facebook, and we have our all of the information, which you're gonna allow us to share that information.
Absolutely.
Because I have a number of people that already follow me, and they're all over the world, all over this planet. So we want to invite everybody. It's not just restricted. It's open to anybody that calls you. God calls you. Come on in, join us. We would love to have you.
We'll see you there. Go online, go to www.unityofsacramento.com. Look for Oath of Manifestation in the rotating banners. Click on it. It will take you to the registration landing page and all of the information you need to know to register. Do it today. And finally, I want to make this big announcement. It's one that we've been working diligently upon. We have stood up, the Board of Trustees have stood up a reentry committee to study the possibilities, and I'm so happy to announce that we will have what we are calling a soft opening, our return to the campus on Sunday, July 25th at 10:30 a.m. for what we are calling Sabbatical in Song. Now, because of CDC guidelines and things of that nature, and the recommendations of our reentry committee and some of the things that you told us yourselves through our town hall meeting. We will continue to social distance. We will continue to wear masks, and therefore only 100 people will be able to participate live during this reopening. And again, it's a soft opening. It will be the only opening that we will have during the month of July, but we're going to have it in song, we're going to have it in excellence, it's going to be joyous and glorious, and we will live stream it as well. So you won't miss a thing, but for those who are interested in coming back to the campus and are ready to come back to the campus, you will have your opportunity. So stand by. We will be sending you information on how you can reserve your seat for Sabbatical in Song, our re-entry onto the Unity of Sacramento campus on Sunday, July 25th, 10:30 a.m. But until then, let us go to church right now with Dr. Cheryl Ward and her lesson entitled, The Mysticism of Manifestation, Your Soul's Journey Through the Infinite Possibilities. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
All right, let's watch.
Breathing space. Our word for today is freedom. Our declaration: I am aware of my freedom in God, and I am at liberty to make great decisions. I am aware of my freedom in God, and I am at liberty to make great decisions. I am aware of my freedom in God, and I am at liberty to make great decisions. There is freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky. And you ask, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? Aaron Hansen. Within the energy, intelligence, and infiniteness we call God is a freedom and liberation that occurs at our very awareness of its presence. The feeling is expansive, non-confining, and unlimited. The very thought of God frees us of any erring suggestion of lack or limitation. We can make decisions from this consciousness and express with clarity our potential out of a myriad of possibilities. Right now, in your mind's eye, begin to see the results of this awareness of God. See your questions answered, your problems dissolving, and your issues resolved. Focus only on what you want, not what you don't want. Allow the Spirit of God to reveal and handle the how. Simply breathe, and in this moment, see the results you seek, unencumbered by any contentious or competing thought. Decide now to freely receive this reality in God with gratitude and joy. Continue to walk in this eye-opening awareness of God's ever-present assistance, making every decision from this truth. Our reflection question. If you had the final word in any area of your life, what would you say? Let us take this reflection question into a moment of silence. And remember to breathe. And so it is. Amen and amen.
God, you are my infinite supply. God, you are my infinite supply. You are limitless, measureless, divine, abundant consciousness. God, you are my infinite supply. God, you are my infinite supply. God, you are my infinite supply. You are limitless, measureless, divine, abundant consciousness. God, you are my infinite supply. All my needs, God will provide. What I give, God multiplies. No good thing will be denied. You're the source and my supply. I give my heart in gratefulness, for you are great and marvelous. I lift my hands in thankfulness for all you've done, for all you've done. God, you are my infinite supply. God, you are my infinite supply. You are limitless, measureless, divine, abundant consciousness. God, you are my my infinite supply. All my needs God will provide. What I give God multiplies. No good thing will be denied. You're the source and my supply. I give my heart in gratefulness, for you are great and marvelous. I honor you in thankfulness for all you've done, for all you've done. God, you are my infinite supply. If you believe that, just throw your hands up this morning. God, you are my infinite supply. In that very instant, the channel is open. You are limitless, measureless, divine, abundant consciousness. God, you are my infinite supply. God, you are my infinite supply. God, you are my infinite supply. Everything I need, everything I need, everything I need. Oh, you are my love, my joy, my peace, my comfort, my hope. You are, God, you are my infinite supply. If you believe that, lift your hands. You're my infinite supply. Everybody in the building, lift your hands if you know that God is. Oh, you are God. Everything to us, every day of our lives, every day of our lives, every day of our lives you are. If you believe it, celebrate it. It's yours. It's yours. Whatever you need, whatever you desire, the desires of your heart, God says it's yours. It's yours. It's yours. Ask and receive. Ask and receive. Ask and receive abundantly, 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 abundantly. It's yours. It's yours. It's yours. Oh, it's yours.
Welcome, beloveds. Today we continue our sabbatical signature speaker series with none other than a master teacher and instructor, a former lawyer, and now someone who I can call friend. Her name is Dr. Cheryl Ward, and she comes with us today with a lesson entitled The Mysticism of Manifestation, your soul journey through the infinite possibilities. Let's watch.
Thank you, Unity of Sacramento. Thank you for having me. I love coming and speaking with your community, and I just love speaking anyway, and just thank you, thank you. I also want to thank you and make welcome those of you who are tuning in, those that tune in all the time, and maybe some of you are tuning in for the first time. So welcome. You're in for a treat. I'm going to be speaking about a subject near and dear to my heart that I love talking about, and it's manifestation. You know, we live in a manifest world. This physical dimension in which we find ourselves is full of all kinds of things that manifest. But one of the things that really has me interested and captivated is this idea of the mystical nature of manifestation. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, the mystical nature of manifestation. Because it isn't about just pressing a button as if we're going to microwave some manifestation. It really is about understanding all that goes behind manifestation, all that goes into manifestation, and how we can participate. Actually, we are already participating, but how can we participate in this manifest world in a way that really lifts us, brings us happiness, brings joy, where we get to spread the joy? How can we really manifest, for example, our dreams? Many people ask that question and wonder. They also want to know, how do I manifest my soul's purpose? Why am I here? Why are repeated patterns always showing up in my relationship? And am I manifesting these relationships that are unpleasant and that I don't like? Well, hopefully today those answers will come to you. But I want to begin at the beginning with the idea that we live in this dimension on this planet that is one of manifestation. So manifestations are going to happen and happen automatically. That's just how it is. That's how we live and where we live. I also want to introduce to you this idea of the windows of manifestation. Many of you know that I am the former dean of Agape University at Agape International Spiritual Center. And being the former dean there, I do a lot of teaching, a lot of classes. I co-teach with Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. I also teach my own class. And manifestation is one of those classes that I have designed, or Spirit has designed through me, that I teach. So one of the teachings that I actually use that comes from Reverend Michael, and that is the windows of manifestation. In other words, we manifest through these different windows. And he talks about 4 windows. I really think there are 5 windows of manifestation. So the first window, when we look at that window, how do things get manifest through this window? They get manifest through the window of your beliefs, the things that you believe in, the things that you believe are true. And a lot of this has to do with your connection with Spirit, your connection with the society, the country in which you live. Beliefs, and that's another whole lesson on how do we get the beliefs, how do we have the beliefs that we have, and where do they come from? Many beliefs come from early training, when you were a youngster, when you were growing up, when you were told, like I was, but I didn't believe this, growing up in Chicago in the winter, put a coat on, put your gloves on, put your boots on, don't get wet in the snow or you'll catch a death of cold. Well, a lot of people believe that even to today. It's cold, it's raining, something's going to happen to you. But we have to question all beliefs. Is this really true? Is this the world in which I'm living? And when we don't question, we may be believing blindly that something is true. But the point that I want to make, because we can go through a whole series of beliefs, I don't have time to do that today. The point I'm making is check your beliefs. What's really true for you? Question them. Question the beliefs about scarcity, for example. Oh, there are not enough jobs. If I go in that business, they are only going to take a few people. They only have room for a few people. Well, the question is that really true? And is it true of the Creator that created me, of the Creator that runs this universe and runs this planet? Is it true of God? I don't think we would find God to be a limited God. No, we find God to be full of all kinds of opportunities. That's where the field of infinite opportunities comes from. So the first window, beliefs. Let's move to the second window. In that window, we're talking about lessons, that each one of us is more than the body that we carry. The body is just the means by which we move about this physical time and space dimension. But the essence of who we are is really our soul essence, and why we have taken this incarnation. And so the soul comes into physical incarnation for the purpose of learning certain lessons. Some of those lessons have to do with being compatible in relationships. Some of the lessons have to do with understanding the omni nature of spirit and really learning how to rely on spirit. Some of the lessons have to do with letting go of lesser ways of living, holding on to forgiveness, for example, holding on to hurt and harm and things like that. Then we move into the next window, the third window, which is the window of blessing. And in this window, many people come into this world, into this incarnation, for the purpose of being a blessing in the life of others. In other words, they've come to be a beneficial presence and to be here, not so much to gain anything, but to give something, to give compassion, for example. And one of the stories that gets told for this window is found in the Wheel of Eternity book. It's a lesson that we learn from a soul who's gone on and had communication here on this planet with two nuns who were in constant communication. And it had to do with the soul, just a little boy who had a mother, only child, and at 11 years old, he passed on. He passed on through drowning. But he was an individual who was born with something that diminished his capacity, his intellectual capacity. And at the time, there were names that people called this, and we don't use those names today, like being retarded in your intellect. Or some people, in a very bullying way, would call someone who was slow, dumb, and things like that. Horrible names. And yet, this individual was an advanced soul and talked about that in the other dimension and talked about choosing this woman to come into this carnation so that he could be her teacher. As a child, he was a teacher, and he was teaching her love and compassion. And once he felt that she had gained that love and compassion, then he went on. He ended his life. To us, it looked like a terrible thing, an accident, a drowning. So when you start asking the questions, why did this happen to someone? This is a good person. Good people have bad things happen to them. Or why did this happen for this child? When we start asking those questions, it's because we don't know the reason why people come into incarnation. You can only speculate or make assumptions, and usually those speculations and assumptions are not based in any fact of truth. So the blessings, some people come just to be a blessing when their soul has fulfilled their reason for coming into incarnation, they move on. The next window, the fourth window, is the window of collective consciousness. That is, all of us in this life, in this physical life, start believing things, talking about things in a collective way, like everybody agrees this is so. Well, that would be collective consciousness, meaning everybody's in agreement that that is so. And because we live in this world and move about in this world, and we live in the energies and frequencies of this world, we will oftentimes pick up those energies and frequencies. You see this happening in mob violence, for example. some of you know that I was a lawyer, and I did a lot in the field of law, both criminal and civil. And one thing that we would find is that anger in a crowd of people is passed on. People are picking up those frequencies, those energies. So there's a collective consciousness going on, and in that consciousness and through that window, certain things will come into manifestation. I think there's a fifth window. I'll just share that with you very quickly, and I call that the window of evolution. That the life is always expanding, that God is always expanding, that God is not just fixed in one way and one nature, that the universe is moving and always expanding itself. And so through that, evolution takes place. And so we see a lot of changes and transformations happen because it's a natural course of evolution. So those are the 4 windows. I want to shift now from those windows and invite you to take a look at the windows, your beliefs, check them out, the lessons that you are learning, that you have learned, or that you're repeating because you haven't learned them yet. And I want you to check out your life. Where are you in life today? What's going on in your life today? Oftentimes, people find themselves stuck on the highway, broke down on the highway, as a car would break down on the freeway or the highway. But no tow truck driver is coming to help you on the highway of life. You have to, through your own realizations, help yourself. And one of the things that you really have to look at is that window of beliefs. What are you believing? Because when you're believing something, you're entering into agreement or coherence with certain frequencies of life. For example, if you believe that life is good but not for you, then that's a level of frequency in which you have accepted for your life and you're living your life. If you believe that you're always on the outside looking in, other people always have it going on, they got the best job, the best house, the great family, and all of that. If you believe all of those things, then you are on the outside looking in. But what really is true is that you're on the inside looking out. In other words, life is providing you a mirror and mirroring back to you what on the inside of you is a belief, a strong belief, something you've already done, a behavior that mimics or explains that belief. You are seeing the world and projecting onto the world where you are in life, on the inside. How do we know that? We know that because people will look at the same experience and see different things, see the same thing happen and comment on it from their level of belief, from their level of experience. So one of the reasons why, as an aside, we never trust eyewitness testimony, because the eyewitnesses see different things from different perspectives and different angles. And most of it comes from what you hold inside, what you feel is your truth in, and how you see life. So get this idea that you're not on the outside, you're on the inside, having certain beliefs and having certain relationships with your Christed nature, with your true soul essence. And you begin there looking at seriously what you believe, what is true and what's not true, and have an intention to begin to transmute the energies of those beliefs, transmute the energy through higher frequency energies that really represent the truth of nature, the truth of your soul essence. And one of the things that I really want you to focus on today from my talk is this idea of your expectations. Your expectations really fulfill themselves based upon, again, what you hold inside, what you believe is true for you. Are you pessimistic or are you optimistic? Are you coming from that place or not? So here's what is important about expectations. And you'll see this in a little bit as I get to the oath of manifestation. Expectations, when you have an expectation that something's going to turn about, you really entered the gateway of disappointment. Expectations lead to disappointment. How is that so? It's because you set up in your mind how something should happen for you. You set up in your mind that, and are determined that something's going to happen in a certain way. And you'll have expectations around that. You'll have even affirmations around that expectation. I'm going to get that house. And only that house. I'm going to get that job and that position. I'm going to get that advancement and that because I've done X, Y, and Z, and so I expect to get it. Again, your expectations, the gateway to disappointment, because life doesn't follow just those expectations. Life has its own way of flourishing. And also your expectations can be very narrow and very limiting. So you want to look at, am I having an expectation in which I'm really limiting life and setting myself up for disappointment? What I say is your disappointment is God's reappointment. And I have a whole list of things I can tell you in my own life. Well, yeah, I was disappointed, but I didn't stay in the disappointment. I allowed something to flow up out of that, and the reappointment happened. See, when you're in disappointment, you're in the house of disappointment. And you don't ever want to be living in the house of disappointment. What I teach is your consciousness is your house. You're in this house, living in this house 24/7, basically. So in the class that's coming up, I'll be teaching a lot more on this. And basically what I'll be teaching in the class that's coming up is this idea of house cleaning. To look inside, what's in my house? What things are there? And when I say things, I'm talking about thoughts, I'm talking about ideas, I'm talking about beliefs. And what I invite you to do, and what I invite my students to do, is to look, and go house cleaning. You want to clean up your house. And you also want to look at where you may have some uninvited guests sitting up in your house, living with you 24/7. So by house cleaning, I mean take a look at your beliefs, challenge them. Is this true? Let's say you're having an issue with a coworker or a family member or anyone, and you believe always that you're going to have an issue with that person. In fact, you don't want to go to family meetings, Thanksgiving, things like that, because you know you're going to run into that person who is disagreeable, that you dislike. Think about it. Is that happening in your life? If so, you're living in the house of disappointment. You ought to want to leave that house of disappointment. Leave that. Break free of that. You may be living in the house of disappointment if you have set yourself up for the disappointment by believing and having an expectation that a relationship, for example, is going to work out. You picked out the perfect partner, and you know and can list all the ways in which it's perfect. But really, when things don't happen, and you did everything, and then you become the martyr in your house of disappointment. I did this and that. I paid for this and that. I took them here and there. I showed them a good time. Why did they ghost me? Why did they just leave me like that? Or why did they run away when we were supposed to end up at the altar getting married? You're living in your house of disappointment. So you want to look at that. Look at everything. that doesn't move smoothly through your life. And be honest with yourself. Yeah, I assumed certain things. I think assumptions also get you into the house of disappointment. I've seen that so many times. Instead of checking out what's true in a communication, for example, you will take a look at body language, you'll take a look at how somebody looked in their eyes and make assumptions about that. And that couldn't have been further from the truth. A person who had a look in their face at you, they may have been experiencing something internal, but you made an interpretation. You looked at that face, you didn't like that face, and you interpreted along the lines of your beliefs and along the lines of your assumptions that you're making without really any facts behind that. That person may have given you a look because they were having a gassy moment at the time. But you made it all about you, and you fit it into your house of disappointment, and you fit it into the assumptions that you were making. I'm sharing this with you because through the years in all of my teachings and interactions with students, as well as private counseling sessions I've had with people, these are the things that I have noticed that trip people up and keep people locked into a prison of their own making, which today I'm calling it your house of disappointment. You have imprisoned yourself inside these assumptions, inside these beliefs. Well, I say it's time for a prison break. It's time for you to break out of the prison of your own making. It's time for you to break out and leave your house of disappointment. You locked yourself in with these keys of blame and evidence with the blame, and it's somebody else's fault, and it could be a personal fault, or you could believe that you, because of how you were born, how you were brought up, you didn't have a mother, you were adopted, you were in the care of other people. You could have all of those reasons, which are keys that keep you locked into your house of disappointment, keep you locked into the prison of your own making. Take a breath on that. Take a breath and just feel that, and be honest with yourself. I am disappointed. Be okay with that. I say get on your side by taking a look, being honest, being fresh with yourself, fresh in the way of freshly looking at things, and not from the old way of making yourself a victim of circumstances, a victim of your race and racial identity, a victim of whatever. That the God presence within you is way more than any of that. So you want to leave that house of disappointment, and you want to leave and have a prison break out of the prison of your own making. You have to have that intention. No one can break you out, just you. You have to say, enough is enough, I've had enough, I'm not taking it anymore. None whatsoever. Then when you break free, you learn a lot of things about yourself. You learn a lot of gifts that were waiting for you, things that you didn't have to make happen. This is part of the mystical nature of manifestation. How did that happen? When you let go of that, when you let go of making somebody else wrong, or making somebody else created in an image, a monster image that you have created for yourself. You get to do that just by setting a new intention and then moving, acting in alignment with that intention. And the keys are to break free are given to you. The truth, number one. Number two is this idea that nothing can be against you, because God is for you and has always been for you. That is a big key to breaking out of disappointment and taking it and say, oh, it's God's reappointment. When I look back over my life, I see all the things that seemed like disappointments, but I was being reappointed. There was a new direction that God was leading me to. I went from being a teacher in high school to being in law school to being a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for over 40 years. And why did this happen? And from being that into being a minister. All of these were reappointments. God was giving me the lesson and the way. And the mystical nature of it, I didn't make it happen. I didn't do anything myself to make it happen. I didn't make myself get accepted into law school, for example. I don't know how that happened. I didn't have all the other stuff that other people so-called have to get in. But God's way is always a beautiful and wonderful way of things happening. And we cannot, with our logical minds, figure out how did that happen. Let me tell you a story about one of my students who were in the classes of manifestation. And she shared that this happened to her. She had been taking classes, and one night she was on the road having to drive one of the freeways in the Los Angeles area. And for some reason, she didn't have her cell phone with her. And so as her car was driving down the freeway and it began to shake and make some noises, she thought, I better pull off because something is happening here. And she asked the question of God, where should I pull off? And God just pull off here, and that exit she followed. And as she gets to the end of the ramp, the off ramp, she looks around and she doesn't see anything. It's dark, it's late at night. She doesn't have her cell phone with her, but she's trusting and she's listening. And she hears pull into this parking lot. Oh, really? This building is abandoned, but I should pull into this parking lot? Yes. She follows those instructions. Why? Because she's trusting. But because she knows that beyond her human knowing, there is the great knower that knows. She pulls in, and the car is really making noise, shaking. She turns it off. What am I to do now? No one knows I'm here. I can't use the cell phone to call anyone. So, taking a breath, she knows that she is going to be directed by God. And she hears, get out of the car and walk over to the building that's abandoned. She does, and sees a spigot there on the side of the building. It looked like it had been abandoned for months, if not years. And next to the spigot was a bucket. And in the bucket was a tube and some oil and water. She takes that and puts that in her car, and it starts. The mystical part of it is the human figuring out mind couldn't have known that. But the one mind and the one knower, the great knower of it all, knew it all the time, guided her, directed her. She trusted. She followed the direction, didn't question, didn't try to override with her human mind, and was able to get her car started and get home. She came to class and told that story. And there are many other stories that I could tell like that. I have my own. I have stories from my students. And one of the things that we do in the class that's coming up about the oath of manifestation is share a lot, because it helps you understand, it helps you fortify your trust, and it helps you break out of house of disappointment or the imprisonment in which you find yourself. You want to come, I invite you to come. You will have a wonderful experience in this class. There's so many wonderful things that happen. I don't have time to tell you all of the interesting, out of this world kinds of experience that people would call miracle, but we call just aligning with God and letting God have his full way with us. So I leave you on this note. There is nothing you can do to outplan God. God's plans are always greater than your plans. Yours are puny in comparison. There's nothing you can know that God doesn't know greater than you. Turn to God. And in this class, we learn how to do that, and we learn how to trust it. And we find ourselves covered in these beautiful miracles that are unexplainable, that I call the mystical nature of manifestation. Thank you all for being with us. I hope to see you soon in the class that I'll be teaching. Just thank you, and thank you, God. So be it. Let it be. And so it is. Amen.
My God can do anything. My God can do anything. God has the power. God has the power. God has the power. God has the power. My God can do anything.
Wow, what a wonderful Sunday it has been. Thank you so much, Dr. Ward, for those wonderful words of wisdom. I can't wait for your class to begin. And thank you, Reverend Charles Cooper and the Unity of Expression Choir. What incredible music that you continue to bless us with week in and week out. And if you're feeling like me, if you're feeling inspired and you want to know how you can support Unity of Sacramento, this is your time. This is your time to financially support this ministry so that we can continue to be a force for good in the world. We have many ways in which you can give, and here are just some of them. Watch this. Visit our website at www.unityofsacramento.com. Right there at the top of the front page, you will see a donation button. Click there to visit our safe and secure push-pay portal. Another easy way to give is through our Unity of Sacramento app. Download the app on your smartphone or tablet, and on the front page, look toward the bottom of the page for your giving heart, which will also take you to our push-pay portal. You can also write us. Send your letters to Unity of Sacramento, 9249 Folsom Boulevard, Sacramento, California, 95826. So many people are shopping online, and if that's what you like to do, then support us through Amazon Smile. Visit smile.amazon.com and designate Unity of Sacramento as your charity of choice. You will automatically be making a contribution to our beloved community. And of course, you can always make your donation by using Venmo or Cash App, as seen on your screen. And so, however you are inspired to give, we encourage that you do so and that you consider becoming a recurring giver as well. What's a recurring giver? That's someone that goes to our safe and secure push-pay portal and you set up your account such that you can set it and forget it, and your money substance will go to this wonderful ministry whenever you have set it to do so. It's a wonderful way to give to this ministry on a continual basis. And so, whether you have given $1 or you have given $1 million, we want to take the time right now to thank you and thank God for the blessings that are coming to this ministry and also coming to the giver, coming to you, beloved. We give thanks to God by saying divine love in and through each of us blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And finally, beloved, I want to share a community prayer, a prayer that I would love for us all to take and to pray on a daily basis. If you are a member of Unity or a regular attendee of Unity, then you will be getting something in the mail, and in that mailer you will find this, what we're calling the sabbatical prayer for our beloved community. And so I want to share that prayer with you right now. As we turn within, let us know that Unity of Sacramento is a multicultural, multi-faith, multimedia spiritual community of love, committed to awakening our divine nature and being a force for good in the world. Unity of Sacramento is a multicultural, multi-faith, multimedia, spiritual community of love, committed to awakening our divine nature and being a force for good in the world. And as we open our hearts in service to Spirit, we offer our sacred yes. We enthusiastically fulfill our unique roles in this ministry, and we draw to us every resource and supply, every equipment, talent, and expertise that equips us to answer the Master's commission to go into all the world. We bless every member, every friend, every youth, every guest, every volunteer, teacher, ministry, and our board trustees. We give thanks for God and for God's continuous guidance, inspiration, and protection over our senior minister, the Reverend Kevin Ross, and our first family. We stand tall in knowing that together we co-create a world of peace, prosperity, and unconditional love for all. So help us, God. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Thank you for tuning in, beloved, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Join us as we continue with our sabbatical signature speaker series. And until then, God bless you. Know that we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time.
With a special message just for you. We are all home. Family. We all belong. We all belong. We all belong to the family of God. We all belong. We all belong. We all belong. We all belong to God's infinite love. And together with open arms and hands, everywhere we go, we will take a stand. We will stand up for love all over the world. Yeah. Come on. We all belong, yeah, to the family of God. We all belong, so hear the mighty. We all belong, we're all created in the family of God. We all belong, come forth, beloved. We all belong, take your place. And together we go, in heart and hands, we know we'll take a stand. We'll stand up for love all over the world.
Clap your hands like this, clap your hands like this if you believe in love.